Hi and welcome to our recording. We've set up a video here. We recently ran a webinar and we're incorporating a lot of the details and information we provided in that webinar. One of the major issues or concerns that a lot of clients bring, or prospective clients that come to our office, their major concern is, will they have enough money to retire on? So we thought, what a great topic to at least run through and hopefully give some guidance around all the different areas of investment, and certainly Centrelink as well, Social Security, on how all of that forms part of a plan for you to be able to retire comfortably. One of the important things that ASIC and certainly the governments have implemented is a dedicated website, which is www.moneysmart.gov.au. Now, this is an important website because it is backed by ASIC, the prudential body overlooking securities and investments. So all the figures have got to be right. All the calculations have passed the ASIC requirements. So certainly it's a resource that obviously as taxpayers we are funding, but it is a great avenue for people who are concerned or worried about retiring, for them to get a lot of their money advice. Now, obviously as financial planners, we would love you to be a client of ours, but certainly there's some people who don't see value at this point. Hopefully we can change that over time. But also they may not be in a position to be able to pay for strategic advice. That's also something we're looking at with clients. As a DIY or do-it-yourself option, the MoneySmart website is a great starting point for you to be able to have a look at that and see if you can work out how close to retiring you are. So what we've got, I've set up a client. If we have a look over here, we've got a couple, and this is the retirement planner calculator. So it really focuses on superannuation as the funding mechanism. Now, when I talk to clients about superannuation, I consider superannuation as a flash word for retirement funding. Now, whether that's direct shares in your own name, a business, investment properties, generally we consider the whole lot there as the available capital or all the financial resources available to you to help you eke out a retirement income stream for a life expectancy of at least 25 years if you retire at 60 to 65. So let's run through the planner now, just so you get a good idea of I guess, the inputs, because any of these calculations are only as good as the inputs that apply. And hopefully you'll agree with me that the assumptions, which is what all this is driven by, are reasonable and conservative. So we have a look. We've got Barry as the primary client in this situation. He's currently 49. He's looking to retire at 60. So about you is just your current situation. It's just a snapshot in time about where you are at the moment. He's on an annual income of $120,000, has a current super balance of $350,000. So he's pushing along quite nicely, I guess, in comparison to a lot of the clients that we deal with. He's probably tracking in a reasonable manner just for his own super balance. Don't forget, this is just focusing primarily on super account balances. Barry's employed, so his employer has to pay the SG, which is the 9.5%. So 9.5% of his $120,000 package is payable by his employer, and that money goes into superannuation as mandated payments. At this stage, he's not making any additional contribution to super. He's a homeowner, which is important when we are considering Social Security or Centrelink benefits, and he does have a partner. He is married, of course, to Barry and Barbara. Barbara's a bit younger. She's 42. She's also looking to retire at 60, so that means she'll get to work a little longer than Barry. Barbara does some part-time work in school hours. Flexibility there is important to her, so the income that she receives is about $15,000 per annum. she's got $30,000. So this is an interesting part. We see that a lot of wives or female partners in relationships, as a result of growing their families, have been out of the workforce for an extended period of time. And superannuation really isn't something that they engage with or focus on with any great effort. So that's why we see such a discrepancy there with those balances. She does get the 9.5% paid as well, and she doesn't add any further details or contributions into her super fund. Okay, so if we have a look, the calculator provides a snapshot of your current situation. So assuming that you do nothing, the calculator is focusing on a retirement income stream of $70,000 per annum. Based on the calculations here, we just scroll. The total annual income, if Barry and Barbara do nothing, is going to be at retirement, and that's at age 60, is going to be $16,000. So when you consider Barry's been on $120,000 a year and even Barbara on $15,000 a year, there's not too much there in regards to income being generated from their investments. Let's push it up to the first green dot here, which is the age pension factor. So once certainly Barry is able to access Centrelink benefits, he's going to achieve an additional income stream there of $14,411 because he's met that retirement age, and we're assuming that Barbara has her money still in superannuation. If we scroll further here, when Barry's 74 and Barbara's 67, we've got a total annual income there of $42,000. Now that is a combination of Centrelink and both of their superannuation accounts, providing them with a retirement income stream. So as you can see, on a value of, say, targeting $70,000 a year, there's a significant shortfall in what they want to do. Westpac and the Melbourne Institute have put out some figures that advise that a basic retirement, you're going to require, say, $45,000 a year. And for a comfortable retirement for a couple homeowner, which is where we're focusing on today, you need $56,000. So bear that in mind as a statistic. Your situation most probably is going to be different to this. So we're looking at life expectancy. There's some important statistics here down here. So half of retirees live, and we're talking about females here, live to the age of 91 or more. That is a, this figure here. Half retirees live to the age of 88. So when we're considering we want to retire at 60, we've got, say, 28 years to get to this point to be able to make sure that we've got enough financial resources to cover our cost of living for nearly a 30-year period. If you're female, there is a 1 in 5 chance, which is 20% chance that you're going to live to age 98. So these are phenomenal figures, and this is, I guess, one of the driving forces that as a financial planner, we're trying to make sure that we get you well positioned and well organised to be able to access enough retirement capital to outlast your lifetimes. So we have a look at the income goal. Couldn't be any clearer here. There's a shortfall. The calculator automatically shows $70,000 as an income goal. Certainly we can have a look at that if you feel that it's too high. So the gap per year is about, if I can get it there, is $31,000. So between now and retirement age, which is, 10 to 15 years away, Barry and Barbara need to implement strategies that are possibly going to greatly reduce that gap that's sitting there at the moment. So let's have a look at the next tab, which is about improving your results. Okay, so as a financial planning firm, we focus on making sure that you can reduce that gap. So let's improve the results. So change your income goal. Let's assume that, look, we've got no debts, the kids are off our hands, and now we just want a simple life. Let's assume there's no tax on earnings as well. Let's change the income goal. Let's make it 55. Westpac Melbourne Institute think that that's going to provide a comfortable retirement. Let's work on that. So as a result, by reducing that goal, instead of having 70,000 a year, it's now 55,000. And what that's done is reduce the gap from $31,000 to just under $17,000 as a shortfall. So in that one move, by reducing that goal, and for some people, they may want to increase that annual goal. They might want to take it up from $70,000 to $100,000 a year. Part of my role is, I guess, understanding what your financial resources are and determining suitable strategies that may need to do that. So there could be some considerable sacrifices that you need to make in order for you to bump up the income goals that you're after. Okay, so that's helped us reduce the gap in one go. Contributing more. So what we can do here is, leading into retirement, the kids are off your hands, there may be some surplus cash flow. You paid off your home loan and you're able to look at bumping up the superannuation contributions. So let's say, we'll bring it back to, let's say there's a spare $250 a month. So currently they don't put any money into superannuation. Now we've asked them to put an extra $12,000 a year. So what that has done has reduced that gap again down to 14,683. So there's still a sizable gap there to sort that out. We can also put after-tax dollars. So we're already putting the SG, which is the mandated 9.5%, plus the additional 12,000 here. And then let's go and put another 1,000. So we're saying that there is a spare $24,000 a year in pre-tax dollars and after-tax dollars. So that gives us a good blend of contribution types. So there's two ways you can contribute into superannuation. One is as tax-deductible contributions, either as a self-employed contribution or as salary sacrifice if you're on PAYG or employed. And the other one is non-concessional contributions, which is money that you've already paid tax on and that you can put into superannuation off your own, out of your own wishes there. Because you've already paid the tax on that, the super fund doesn't tax you at 15% on entry for that contribution. So when you consider that on average, most people are paying between $24,000 to $36,000 per annum on mortgage repayments, what we're asking Barry and Barbara to do here is to replace those contributions that they would have made off their mortgage and direct that towards superannuation. So in essence, their cash flow hasn't changed. We're just redirecting where the previous payments for the mortgage went into superannuation. So what we've done is put that money in, and so that has reduced again the gap down to 13,000. All right. Let's have a look at fees. Fees are always a sticking point. Currently, Barry and Barbara have got medium to high fees. Let's drop them to low medium. And now there's a reason I've done that. Contribution is nil, so you should not be paying any entry fees for your superannuation fund. If you are, you need to get out of that fund. In regards to management costs of your account, it should be less than 1% per year for the administration and the fund management. The management cost, possibly $50 per year, which probably relates to an industry super fund. Look at that. Look at the difference that it makes. So previously it was medium high, and a lot of the clients that we speak to are probably sitting in this level where they're possibly paying contribution fees and they're paying closer to 2% ongoing for the management costs. Anything close to 2% is significantly high. Obviously, ASIC understand that people pay higher rates here, which is 4% entry fee and 2.5% as an ongoing administration fee. These are really high, and this makes a big difference to your capital that's available to you. So we've stripped it back down to the low to medium, and that's reduced our gap by another $5,000 a year. So we're certainly making some progress just by making some small, decisive changes in your strategy. Let's check your investment options. A lot of people sit within a balanced portfolio. So when we have a look combined, a balance is around about 70% in shares and property. The rest is in cash or fixed interest. Expected rate of return, these are supplied to us by ASIC. So it gives us an indication of what they think, where it's going to be. It's not guaranteed. There's certainly periods where you've got exposure to shares and property where you would like to think, and historically, the returns have been a lot better. If we consider the last 2 months, and we're into March 2016, the previous 2 months, the Australian share market has fallen 12 to 13%. So there's periods where there's negative returns as well. So on average, a balanced portfolio is going to provide, say, a 5.7% return. There's an expected loss 4 years in every 20. So 1 in 5 years, you would expect that there would be a negative return. I believe that a high growth portfolio is the only way that you're going to have any chance of helping fund your retirement for 30 years. Investing it all in cash or term deposit, while it's important that you have that for liquidity and for emergency access, it's not going to help you fund 30 years in retirement. So the expected rate of return there is 6.6. Yes, there is a high amount of volatility, but working with a trusted financial planner, you should be able to better understand the strategies and why volatility, or price fluctuations as we prefer to call it, is something, or at least with a strategy, can be utilized to make the most for your long-term investments. Okay, so what we've done there is changed the retirement. We're going to go pre-retirement as well. Okay, so we've now got that gap down just below 4,000. So instead of 55,000 a year, we're going to be able to fund 51. Instead of 55,000, it's going to be 51,000 per annum. Let's assume that there's no extra spending in year one, because I've got to try and reduce the gap. And if we spend money here, we're not going to be able to do it. But examples of this may be paying off a small amount of your mortgage, buying a new car, or going on that once in a lifetime holiday that you've both been planning for. Here's an important component. So we've suggested that Barry and Barbara retire at 65. So what we're seeing is that some people are happy to push that out. So and we know for a fact that Barry and Barbara can't access Centrelink benefits until they're 67. So let's assume that between 60 and 67, they may work part-time. They may reduce their workload. But by stretching that out for a few more years, they're certainly going to be able to meet their shortfall. So what it does, instead of $55,000 a year, we can get that up to $63,000. So that's a significant difference there. So it might be too early from 60. So let's say it's 63. And so there we go. We've been able to meet the shortfall in their retirement income. So we've got green up here. Income goal was $55,000 a year. So with a combination of superannuation strategy, Centrelink, and a combination of drawing down on capital over that period, Barry and Barbara, with our help and guidance, of course, have been able to retire in a comfortable manner.